Let's go. Let's go.
We welcome you to another live edition of The Sports Box, your go-to sports podcast featuring great content, conversation, and your occasional disagreement. Stick around to interact and ask questions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Do you remember the 21st morning of September when you were watching Sports Box Week 3 pregame? Well, you will. Welcome to Week 3 pregame on the Sports Box. Brian Natara, Drew Trammell, Anthony Emilio, Tony Quigley will arrive casually late, like he always does.
What a douche!
Yeah, he's
a douche.
He's not camping this week, so we'll see how that goes. Like, follow, and share. We want to hear your comments, so please feel free to share them throughout the show. We will be going around the NFL. We'll talk about Thursday night. We'll talk about some hot topics of the day before we break down every single game from tonight and tomorrow. And we will kick that off with a Thursday night game, which probably wasn't the best quarterback play you've ever seen. But the Bills did win 31-21 to move to 3-0 over the Dolphins. Josh Allen, 22 of 28, 213 and 3 scores. Tua turned the ball over, 22 of 34, 146, 2 touchdowns, and a crucial pick at the end, which really sealed the game for Buffalo. James Cook, another huge day, 19 for $108 and a score. Devon Achane, 12 for 62. Dalton Kincaid, the surprise leading receiver in this game for Buffalo, 5 for 66 and a score. Tyreek Hill actually caught a ball or two, 5 for 49 and a score as well. Jalen Waddle was also on the score sheet. Guys, I was in and out of this game, but Josh Allen did not play his best, I would say, and it didn't really matter. This has been a pretty one-sided rivalry for a while. Nobody, I think, is surprised that the Dolphins are 0-3. No one's surprised the Dolphins lost this game. But for Buffalo, it's just ho-hum, I think that they're getting a lot more from their running game than we've seen in the past. James Cook was talked about as like a touchdown guy last year, but he's got, I think, 3 straight games now over 100 yards on the ground. So, it's a really, really, really good start for them. And, Miami's a general disaster as we welcome in the one and only. Tony, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Sorry, hopping on a little bit late.
Casually late. That's your style. It's all right. You're entitled.
Yeah, good to be back on with you boys. It's been a couple weeks.
Anybody want to take this this football game from Thursday?
Yeah, I'll talk. First and foremost, it's great to have all of us back, man. It's been a very long time, so I'm happy that all of us are doing well. With that being said, man, listen, Miami Dolphins are a shit-ass franchise. They suck at a lot of things that they do right now. They have a head coach who thinks he's smarter than everyone else in the room. He should be fired here in a couple of weeks. Me and the guys at Game Winning Drive, we have a bet right now. Who's going to get fired first, him or Dabble? A couple of us have said Mike McDaniel first, so we'll see what happens with that. On the second part of this, as the game, the Bills, they look great on all cylinders. It's good to see Dalton Kincaid come back to his grace that he was when we first met him, because last year he was a little bit of a shell of himself, dealing with injuries and stuff. Bills' offense and defense, they lost 2 of their starters on Thursday night, and it didn't look like the game was close, but then it felt like the game wasn't close from watching it and looking at the stat sheet. James Cook is an absolute animal. It's a great decision by them by signing him. It's what they needed. It helps Josh Allen. And the Bills look like a force. They look like a team that is built and ready to go into deep in the playoffs and maybe break this straw off the camel's back and finally enter a Super Bowl. That's what I take from it from a Thursday night.
Yeah, man, nothing much really on the Dolphins. I mean, you could see, I mean, it's kind of falling apart there very quickly. But as far as the Bills, man, I think, I mean, this team is unstoppable when you have James Cook doing what he's doing. He's rushing, receiving. I mean, it takes so much off of Josh Allen, and he just spreads the ball around to all these different guys. You really don't know who the main target is any Sunday. So, yeah, the Bills are playing really well, especially on defense. I think that's a surprise. I think their defense is playing way better than I anticipated. So, yeah, as usual, the Bills own the Dolphins. It's pretty much a lock when they play each other. So that's what I got from it. From the betting standpoint, I mean, the Dolphins did cover. It ended up at 11.5, I believe. So the Dolphins did cover for those back in the Dolphins Thursday night.
Yeah, Drew, you touched on some good points there, and it is not odd for a team to cover on Thursday night, especially, with the short week, all the headaches it is. One of the guys that made me some good cash last year in fantasy and betting was James Cook, right? Until the end of the season, he kind of staggered. Preseason, everybody was down on James Cook, and myself included. And got to admit, the way that they're using him now is impressive. I mean, he definitely looks like that elite factor back, to quote our boy Murrow Hodge. But it gives another leg to this offense, right? Before a couple of years ago, Allen was the only one who was able to run the ball. But now with him, and then they started working in Williams and Ray Davis at the end of last season and gave everybody like a cause for concern. I'm wondering if they're going to go back to that model to try to save him fresh for the playoffs. But this is a great way to first couple of weeks this James Cook has spurned. Mike McDaniel on the hot seat, absolutely. I mean, he turned from boy genius to no name geek in quite some time, and it's all about winning, right? Tyreek Hill needs to make a couple more plays out there. Waddle was hurt, and he actually showed up a little bit. But if you're not winning, you don't look too smart. So kind of reminds me of a Moneyball situation when you go into all these analytics and everything like that. But at the end of the day, Moneyball never won anything. So it is, and it's going to be interesting to see how Dolphins pan out because I have to think the first thing that they want to do is get rid of Tua, who if they do bring in a coach.
Well, I was going to ask that question. I mean, they're 0-3, obviously, so this is not really a position that's going to historically has been.
Did they not just sign Mike McDaniel? Didn't they just re-sign him for
money? They print money in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, if they end up in a really high draft position, I mean, is this going to be a scenario where they actively look to just move on at this point from Tagovailoa?
Right now, there's no quarterback in college football burning down anybody, clamoring to get on top. That might change by the end of the year, but it just doesn't look like a redevelopment year. I mean, look last year. I mean, even Cam, it wasn't at the top of anybody's draft board. Tennessee got up number 1. Mixed results after 2 games, so we're not going to bury the kid. But, as Ann can contest to, as being a Bears fan, high draft picking quarterback doesn't, equate to immediate success, So
you got to take the right one. That's all.
Yeah.
But I think, to Tua's credit and discredit at the same time, he was all about short passes and letting his players make plays. All he was a facilitator. He was that point guard, so to speak. He wasn't the guy that's going to go out there and win you games. You need people to step up. Devin Achane has really been a blessing in disguise. I mean, he's pretty much hit his number every week, and he kind of looks like somebody to get the ball in. Ollie Gordon ran hard, but at the end of the day, you need some people outside the numbers to make plays. Tyreek Hill, where is he? All he does is have, he had more kids last year than he had touchdowns.
Well, they're not throwing the ball. They're not throwing the ball downfield at all anymore. When he first came into the league, they were throwing it down the field at will, and they just don't do it anymore. I don't understand it.
Well, that was when Tua started. He didn't have Mike McDaniel as his coach.
Well, I'll explain it to you. The right side of the offensive line for Dolphins are absolutely atrocious.
Oh yeah,
if you look at PFF, they're below 20. They're in the 20-25 range, but that doesn't excuse Tua at all whatsoever because he's a one-read quarterback. Yeah, you look how he's been playing. It's a one read and it's a pick every time. He has what does he have? Brian, 4 picks or 5 picks this season so far?
I'll have to look
in three games. I mean, it's just.
Drew, I understand what you're saying, and obviously that's not every play. But every now and then you have to take a shot. You go and max protect. You let Hill.
Oh, I agree with you.
You got at least put the threat out there. That.
We saw. I think it was what was it the third quarter or the one shot they did on the 9 on the right side of the field to Tyreek, and he didn't see the safety coming over, and the throw was 5 yards behind Tyreek. So it's like, dude, like he's not that dude when it comes to airing it out and whatever the case may be, dude. Like even the advanced metrics when he was on fire, his throws were always window 1 to window 2. The majority of his throws, if people don't know, it's like 0 to 15 yards and 15 to 30 yards. The 30 to 45 yards, the guy he's always underthrowing players, and that was his Achilles heel. Even coming into the NFL,
and when he overthrows them, they don't go up and attack the ball, as Tyreek showed them too. So it's just a bad.
They're not the biggest receivers. They don't have the biggest receivers either.
They don't.
Guys that go up and get the ball. So
you get to a point, Brian. You get to a point where if this team does go, which I think they will go 0-5. If they get to that point, you literally have to bomb everything. I would do whatever I can to trade and get draft pieces.
You mean tank? Oh, you mean tank?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm taking. I'm taking.
What player value? I mean, you'd have to get rid of Tyreek. I mean,
you got to get rid of Tyreek. You got to get rid of that contract.
I get rid of him. You're not winning with him, so you can lose without him.
Yeah, well, I don't know how the Chiefs aren't trying to get involved and trying to get him right now.
They won't.
To be fair, the Chiefs saw enough of Tyreek where they're
they don't want.
And with Rashee Rice and Worthy panning out, and I think they'll be okay. I think the Chiefs. We'll get into that further on, but the Chiefs' problem is that right now Patrick Mahomes is their best running back.
Yeah,
and that's a problem, and that pains me to say, but it's because of some of the things we're trying to do here professionally with their running back, but it's really a headache. So but here's the other thing too. They don't have to be 0-5 for them to rebuild. They should be rebuilding now. No one's stopping the Bills in that division. They're going to be a 6-point, 7-point favorite in every game for the next 10 games, or so to speak, before the bye. They're going to they just need to, one of Brian's favorite things. They need a tank. It's not a thing in the NFL. We know that, but they need to. They need to show some more development, right? Get rid of Hill, try to develop some of the young players, that kind of stuff. And it's not going to be a true tank, but they don't have a shot at winning the AFC East at all.
Their next two games are a home game against the Jets.
Okay.
And they visit Carolina. So now after that, the Chargers will blow their doors off, but neither here nor there. These are 2 very winnable games. And again, listen, the thing about the NFL that I just can't stand, honestly, is just the week-to-week nature of how people feel up and down on teams. Like they win a game, all of a sudden everything's fine. I just think that's hogwash, to say it nicely. Miami can win the next 2 games, be 2-3. All of a sudden, we're not talking about it. We're talking about the Chargers, where it's Tua versus the guy maybe they should have taken over Tua and Justin Herbert. You'll see those narratives, right?
It'll be that narrative. I mean, listen, the NFL loves to create narratives, and Overreaction Monday was created off of the NFL, right? So, I mean, the thing is too. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on a little askew early in the week 2 of the NFL season, and I think it'll balance out at the end. But the problem here is just specifically the Dolphins, they might not be favored in either of those games, which is the scary part to where they're at now as a franchise. So it's not like, hey, the Dolphins are going to go in there and win these 2 games. No, it's the fact that they might win against Carolina, they might win. It's scary. That's why they're far from being a contending organization and team at this time.
Big news, probably the biggest news coming out of last week was the injury to Joe Burrow. He's expected to miss 12 weeks with the grade 3 turf toe. He already had surgery. I wrote about it in my weekly piece in the Hamilton Gazette, and I think this is something really we should be discussing here. Is it really feels to me like Joe Burrow is on the Andrew Luck track? There's a lot of similarities. They elite, ultra talented, number 1 overall picks that go to teams that for whatever reason choose not to invest correctly in protecting their franchise quarterbacks. You start looking at some of the numbers, the comparisons between Luck and Burrow. Luck, we think about how Luck was just obliterated. Luck was sacked 174 times over 86 games. That's about 2 a game ballpark. Well, Burrow's been sacked 201 times over 71 games. That's kind of more like a whole sack a game. That's an average of 3 sacks per game, right? Burrow's been pressured 27% of his plays, 20% of the time he gets hit. Luck was 28 and 21. There's a ton of just correlations here. I've been a very vocal critic of taking Jamar Chase over Penny Sewell. I stand by that despite how good Chase has become. They've invested on the outside, but not on the inside. And if you're Joe Burrow, I don't know. I mean, at some point, you got to figure out what's best for you and your future. And Andrew Luck shocked the world. I'm not saying Joe Burrow is going to shock the world. I'm not saying he's not thinking about it, though.
So, Brian, you took the thought process in your thought process, right? So as you're coming on, right. It wouldn't have been as fun if they took Penei Sewell, and I think we were in agreement on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you did Jamar Chase and everything, but they probably win more, if not more. They accomplished everything they already accomplished with the Penei Sewell that they have with Jamar Chase. We know receivers don't really move the needle too much, but that doesn't ensure anything. I'm not really going to placate the Andrew Luck comparison too much. I think Andrew Luck was a much different person than Joe Burrow. He ran a lot harder than Joe Burrow. He was a lot smarter than Joe Burrow, not just he's a very cerebral individual. You know what I'm saying? Like not just for he's like I liken him to like Myron Rolle. If you guys remember Myron Rolle, FSU, safety, Tennessee. Now he's a brain surgeon.
Doctor.
Dr. Myro, yeah. And I worked with his mom down in Atlantic City for years. Amazing woman. And so I followed his path very closely. And Luck was kind of more like that. Burrow is Joe Cool. Burrow is football player. Burrow is fashion guy. Burrow is that. So there's no way he's stepping. If his right arm still works, he's playing football.
Yeah, I mean, the style of play, I think, is like Tony said, is totally different. I mean, Andrew Luck, he ran the ball. He ran the ball hard. I mean, he never slid. He took tackles on, and he took a beating. And the injury that took him out, was it like a spleen injury? It was an injury that could have cost him his life, I believe.
My recollection was he didn't want to rehab that. He didn't want to rehab
neck, right?
It was
a shoulder neck injury that exactly. So it kind of so he could take a hit on the shoulder, which quarterbacks do all the time. So it wasn't it was a very cautious retirement, but it still happened.
Is that you good at?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a couple of things here. I think half of the guys is on Joe Burrow, and the other half is on the ownership of Cincinnati. If you're going to go and be vocal about making sure your guys get money, then you need to understand that you're not only putting yourself in danger, but also the organization in a bad place. T. Higgins should have never gotten paid what he got paid from Cincinnati. You could have easily gone out and gotten better offensive line protection on especially your guard spots and your right tackle. The draft pick that they made last year, he's been okay, but not great.
Mims.
You gave the defensive end $30 million for one season, and you did not use that all to your advantage to take care of other players that you could have taken in free agency. You have 4 guys that are pretty much taking up, I think it was like 72% of the salary cap between Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and Trey for just this year. And you're not doing yourself a service by protecting the most important investment in your probably arguably in your franchise history in Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I do not agree with I understand how amazing Jamar Chase is and his what do you say, his chemistry being former teammates at LSU. But my job as a GM is to make sure that number 9 is protected from the 5 most important spots that you can use to protect your investment. And I think Penei Sewell still should be the pick. But I understand why they went Jamar. I don't understand why they signed T. Higgins. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Drew, real quick, speaking of receivers, Jawan Jennings out today.
Yep.
Also, Jason has 103 fever and he's still playing somehow. So he's on a snap count today. But with that being said,
who is that?
JSN.
Oh, yeah.
With that being said, Brian, I already know how you feel about it. The guy should be, for his talent alone, he should be number 1. I wouldn't say he's Andrew Luck 2.0 because, like Tone said, Andrew Luck was a cerebral assassin, dude. But Joe Burrow is a different beast, dude. I think he lives and dies and breathes football. We're not going to see a guy that I think will retire in year 10 or whatever year it was that Luck retired. But it's
seventh year, I believe.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. I just don't see Joe Burrow doing that. I think he lives and dies by the sword. But we'll see, man. I mean, that offensive line is just disgusting how bad they are.
I didn't really intend this. It's a very interesting segue to the next topic of conversation as to how important an offensive line is, right? Even to me, football is always going to be a trenches game, right? At the end of the day, no matter how the rules change, no matter what they do, it's offensive line versus defensive line, and you're trying to give your quarterback time to make a play. Like the center of the football world is right around the line of scrimmage and the guy right behind it. And linemen don't sell jerseys, but you know what? They keep your jersey seller upright. Jamar Chase can catch deep balls, but he can't keep Joe Burrow off the ground. So, it goes back to the conversation that the Chargers had when they took Joe Alt over a guy like Malik Neighbors. And look how that's working out there. Again, like you don't need superstar receivers. What you need is a quarterback that has time to find somebody open.
Right. This isn't a Cincinnati issue. Okay, look at the history of football issue. There's one wide receiver. There's one wide receiver. But listen, if we know this sitting in our friggin' houses throughout the friggin' country, right? Mike Evans won. He's the only top 5 won because of Brady was transported there. No other receiver drafted high is winning anything ever. So Bengals don't see that and say, well, we're investing in this quarterback. Let's just get one of the best offensive tackle prospects in the last 10 years. It just doesn't make sense. You got to give credit. Like, look at Detroit. Detroit did the same. They were the misstep. They were fortunate from the misstep from Cincinnati. Okay. If Jamar Chase goes to Detroit isn't Detroit right now.
No,
it's just not. They don't have that anchor in the line or anything. And they've had their issues this year, but at the same time, like, man, it's just.
And this is
it's not difficult, guys. It's not.
And this is why you see the Eagles win every year. They have the best offensive line and they have the best defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got absolutely
right. That's why they're in position every year. Every year they're in position because that's the strength of their football team, and that's how they draft. That's how.
And they didn't even have a quarterback to protect.
And that's their philosophy.
And you also have to include the fact that the GM is a freaking mastermind when it comes to trades, man. He attains draft capital that he can.
Look who he's drafting.
Well, no, I agree.
He's going to the SEC. He's drafting winners.
Yeah.
He's drafting big guys.
Yep.
I mean, it's
but but that AJ Brown trade was so criminal to what they got. I don't know what Tennessee was thinking in trading that, but that's the shit that I'm talking about. It pisses me off.
Let me ask you a question.
And watch what he does with AJ Brown. He's probably going to trade him out of Philly soon too, because
he's losing a step.
Yeah,
I don't think that the Titans are any better today if they kept AJ Brown.
No.
They absolutely are better.
But that's a different conversation.
How better?
It's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation, but they actually are better because they swung and completely missed on the pick to replace.
They did. No, I agree with that.
So yeah, they're a little bit, but they're not winning anything. They're still not winning anything.
That is true.
That is true. They were a number one seed with AJ Brown on the team. Weren't they?
With verbal.
With AJ Brown on the team.
But you know what? And the other thing too is like we're looking at it from a football stance, on the field stance. A lot of times, I mean, that was a budget move. That was a financial profit move.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
So they won their division, but they didn't. Under Vrabel, they went to an AFC under Vrabel. They went to an AFC title game where they lost to the Chiefs, but they were like the 6th that year. They
upset Ravens. Ravens were number 1 that year.
Yeah. They won their division twice.
I thought they were number 1 seed.
But and when they made that trade, they didn't make the playoffs that year.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, in the offensive line discussion, an offensive line can elevate a star quarterback to a legendary level, and they can make an average quarterback look really, really good, like happens to look in Philadelphia these days, right? So a lot of discussion came from the game last week. Now, this has been a topic of conversation for 2 years, right? But it's starting to come to a head, I think, in a much different way, coming out of that Chiefs game last week, where they're showing guys lining up offside, stuff's not getting called, and you're starting to get more and more of that. We got to do something about this thing. In my honest opinion, I'll give it, maybe it's a bit of a conspiracy theory. I think they're purposely not calling it to draw attention to it, to build up support, to get rid of it.
I could agree with that.
That's too much tinfoil hat stuff for me, Brian.
Is it?
These guys want to find a way to get rid of it. They want to find a way to get rid of it.
It's easy to get rid of it. You know what? It's easy to get rid of it. Okay. One thing you do is every time they do it, you just grab their face mask. You grab Hurts's face mask or helmet like Tampa Bay did last year. They just grab his over the pile, grab his helmet. You do that every time. That's going to be a player safety thing. That's one.
Yeah.
2, you just actually enforce the rules, okay? Because this week it's been a big thing about them going offsides, right?
Offsides,
False starting, blah blah blah, right?
The guards.
Absolutely. Okay, first of all, that's not new. That's been going on. But the other thing the thing that I've been harping on for over a year now is that when you look at their tight end, wide receiver, their end positions on that offensive line, they come in and they literally grab the defender and pull them back. Okay, in what world is that not a hold? I mean, it's so it's rubbish. Call the rules, force the rules. I don't have a problem with the tush push as a play itself. It's a quarterback sneak. They're just doing a little different. I would like to see. It is. That's all it is. It's a quarterback sneak. Okay, Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart used to run it a long time ago. Okay, but enforce the rules. Just enforce them, and then it'll change. But get rid of all-star, call the hold, and then you know what I like to see? I'd also like to see the Eagles run a couple other things out of it. Run a couple other things
before.
Get a little cute with it.
Before.
But they've done it, but not think like. Oh, listen, I'm doing. I'm going to double handoff to end coming around, right? Something like that. Like get cute off of it. I mean, you could find a million different ways to be effective on it. Banning it, I don't think it's the right excuse. I think it's a cop out.
Well, listen, other teams aren't successful. They try it. Other teams just. You look at the stats; they're just not successful.
Well, they're probably not trying to cheat when they do it.
Listen, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, bro.
I don't disagree. Again, a quarterback sneak is perfectly fine. My point is that you shouldn't be able to push the guy from behind, right? Like the very easy way to fix this is okay. Like you cannot.
They had a burn bomb
behind the line of scrimmage. Just simple.
Well, let's see what they do this week because they're enforcing.
Oh, they're going to call it this week. Oh yeah.
Well, they're enforcing it this weekend that the helmet's got to be behind the ball. So when they line up today,
well, it always should be. It
Prop
always
bet
should
a week.
be.
yeah, you're right, Drew. You're right.
It's
Everyone's in
ridiculous.
the neutral zone. It's like
I
everyone's
know.
in the neutral zone. It's
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like that play allowed the rules to devolve. Like it's like, okay, like we have our rule set for every play, and then that play they just kind of forget how to officiate it. Just officiate it normal. Let it be happen. That's why prop bet today, Saquon Barkley, 2 touchdowns. Plus 260, I believe it is.
What a great leeway there, Quig. Listen,
if they're not going to be able to run a tush push, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Better than Barkley.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all over Barkley today.
But again, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, but it just circles back to just the Eagles' offensive line is tremendous, right?
yes.
And that's how but that's the engine that propels this team. It's not their dumbass quarterback. It's the offensive line.
Well, and their D-line, too. Their D-line's really good as well, too.
No, absolutely. But offensively.
You're talking offensively? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Can we not dissolve this into Jalen Hurts bashing?
No, but but hold on.
None of us here are pro Hurts.
I understand that, but it just supports the point. He has an hour and a half to throw the ball and throws the ball on average 4 yards.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Like I'm just like, are we like? But again, now put Joe Burrow behind that line, and I would tell you the Eagles don't trail in a game all year.
Put 15 quarterbacks behind that line, dude.
Oh my god! But that's the thing. And then you have these just stupid troglodyte morons. Oh, Jalen Hurts is so elite. He's averaging 125 yards.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Brian,
you brought out the word
Brian, do you have the article that you shared on Outside the Sport Box about the chart where Jalen Hurts was like 4?
That chart was stolen, Drew. That chart was stolen.
I know it was stolen. But that chart, the way he wrote it was
a joke between
perfect.
me and Attar.
That's a Sports Box group chat joke about.
By the way, just for me, dude, I agree with the Quig said that the offensive line is definitely offsides when they do Tush Push. I'm with you, Brian. I actually don't like players from that instant, that formation, being able to push Jalen Hurts, the tight end, and whoever else is lining up on the other side of him.
But that was a rule.
It was a rule in the NFL.
It was.
I would like for them to go back to not being able to do that. Now it's different for me if like we had a running back that was running 10 yards, and then you get that big how do you say it? A big huddle, not a huddle, but like a circle that's combined with like 8 defensive players, and then all the offensive linemen are trying to push him. That's different for me. Yeah, that's it right there.
All right,
that right there is insane.
Here's what this indicates.
That is insane.
The farther you go to the right is how much time the player has to throw the ball.
Yep.
And then the lower you go down is how just not far the ball goes.
That's crazy.
Okay. So Jalen Hurts has 3.25 seconds and throws the ball approximately 3.25 yards.
It's insane.
Okay.
It's insane.
But who's he throwing the ball to?
Elite wide receivers, apparently. and a great running back and a great tight end. Like this is not, James Thrash and Todd Pinkston. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
At least Teague Pinkston would run a deep route every now and then. But that's what I'm saying. Like who's he throwing 3 yards to? I mean, are these all check downs? I mean, he's not throwing much.
Dotson.
But listen, but the team wins, right? So he's elite because
he's a winner.
Sure,
he's a winner.
So is Jake Elliott.
Winning is the greatest elixir. It doesn't matter if he's. You know what I'm saying? Eagles fans are going to defend Hurts because he's bringing them to championships, right? So I mean that's the thing.
I mean, I would you defend?
Right. Let me. Okay. So let's really
quarterback if he was 18-1 or 19-1 in the last.
So is their kicker.
Defend him.
Let's fuck with Artar's head for a little bit here, okay? Eagles' success with Hurts translates to Dallas. Okay. Would you rather have Hurts on Dallas with the same success the Eagles have, or would you rather have what they're doing now?
What are you asking me? It's Dak versus Hurts?
Not Dak versus Hurts. It's you switch to Eagles and Cowboys with their records, but Hurts is the quarterback. Cowboys massive fanatical offensive line, defense, blah blah blah. Super Bowl last year, Super Bowl the year before. What would you rather have?
both.
I choose death. Right.
I mean, the third door is obviously death. Yes, I would jump off my house into a fire. I would get Mortal Kombat uppercut into the pit. I'd rather do that.
You're nuts. You're nuts.
You guys are wild.
No, let me ask the question.
No way.
So I think Jalen does not run the offense as well in Dallas, but the results aren't any better. And I think Dak probably doesn't run the offense as well in Philadelphia because he's Dak.
No.
That's not what he asks.
It's not about switch Dak and Hurts. That's not what I'm asking. Okay. What I'm asking is same success. Switch the jerseys, right? We all root for laundry anyway.
But I rather have the team winning.
Switch the location. Dallas has been. So just say Dallas has been the Eagles the last 5 years.
That'd be great.
So you'd be happy with the success.
But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the quarterback's the reason my team is winning games.
No, I mean, but you got to understand. Eagles fans are on a learning curve.
Yeah. I mean, they all should jump into the Delaware. We've already established that. But the point is, it's just can you not cheerlead for 5 seconds? Like, you are literally taking the credit away from an amazing roster of 52 to give it to the guy who's not doing anything.
It's about being a realist. It's about being neutral. It's about not being biased. We all know that Jalen Hurts.
If you want to talk about this reality situation, it's about the quarterback, right? The quarterback always gets the more credit and more blame, and that's kind of where we're at now. It's the credit. He's the quarterback of the Super Bowl champions. He's going to get thrusted into, a stratosphere where he obviously doesn't belong because of that.
I mean,
there's a high percentage of the city that feels like Brian. Like, don't get it twisted. They're all not.
Oh, I don't know, man.
No, he's correct.
I don't know.
No, he's right.
But you're right because
there's a lot of people in Philly that think like Brian.
You guys been on TikTok?
You're right, but the problem is the stupid people in every aspect are normally the loudest.
Honestly,
I hear you.
I feel
don't think it's overwhelming.
There's a high percentage of the people in Philadelphia that don't like Jalen Hurts or Michael Vick or Donovan McNabb or Randall Cunningham or Rodney Peete. I mean, listen. Trust me. Like we all hang around some of these Eagles fans every now and then, and sometimes they're not. When they're losing, trust me, they don't call him Hurts. They don't call him Jalen. They it's come on. We know that. So there's a high percentage in Philadelphia that still has that lack of brotherly love. So
there's a high percentage.
Listen, we're all in accordance here, and we all agree about Jalen Hurts, but I will give him credit where credit is due. He did show up in the playoffs, in the championship game, and the Super Bowl. He's outplayed Mahomes twice. I mean, those things do matter because he has showed up when it matters the most. So I mean, Barkley was shut down the Super Bowl. The Chiefs made Jalen Hurts beat him through the air, and he did. So it's like, I get it goes with the part of the course because at the end of the day, we all would agree the dude is just
don't lose.
Don't lose. He just lose, but dude, my God, it's just it's insane. It's insane how he wins.
I think they win around him. There's a high percentage of people in Philadelphia who also can't read, so you have to also account for that.
Listen, he just don't
including their mayor.
I mean,
including their mayor.
He's totally being safe with everything. Ever since 2023, where he had that horrible year of interceptions, he's been he's played safe football.
Yeah, he's the worst game manager.
The Chargers proved it. 3 seconds to throw 3 yards. We all could do that.
Yeah. So again, now mind you, look, I play a character and outside the box. I'm very good at it, but honestly, I feel like Charlie Kirk sometimes rest in peace. I feel like Charlie Kirk sometimes saying, okay, so Jalen Hurts is elite because he won a Super Bowl. Is Nick Foles elite? Is Dan Marino not elite? And you can't answer that question. Well, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Well, it is because you're telling me because the team wins and they win Super Bowls that he's all of a sudden elite. So what's the actual story? And they just it doesn't work.
Well, so play devil advocate without sniper on the roof shit is that Jalen Hurts has done it. Jalen Hurts has got him to the Super Bowl twice.
So
neither those other two guys you mentioned even sniff the Super Bowl again.
Jalen Hurts has been on a team that got to the Super Bowl twice.
Correct. And Foles hasn't. And who's the other guy you said?
Daniel Marino.
Well, Marino, come on now.
No, hold on.
Marino's top 5.
But no. But they want to tell you because the team wins, so he must be really good, and he won a Super Bowl, so he must be really good, despite the fact that Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl too,
So
and Brad Johnson.
This is where you got to dust off the nerd glasses and the analytical bullshit, and actually watch the game and see what happens on the field.
Yep.
When Dan Marino's out there slinging the rock, he's the reason why his team's winning. Okay. So that's what the thing. And when you watch the Eagles, you see the factors that are in winning. So I mean, it's just sometimes you have to actually watch the game to actually, make a decision.
Going to the Super Bowl and all that is a team achievement. It is not an individual achievement. Now,
Joe
if you're
Flacco, Trent Dilfer,
you're going to show up.
I mean,
Flacco had a great postseason run in 2012, but
So did the Bulls.
he had 12 touchdowns, no picks. But Jalen Hurts, I mean, it's a team achievement at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's a team. What did you do in the postseason that would change the narrative on you and change you as a player? We've seen Jalen Hurts outperform Mahomes twice, like I said early, but in the totality of the playoffs, nah, bro.
Brian, if this guy goes to the Super Bowl again, wins another Super Bowl,
oh my God,
he's going to get a jacket.
Oh, he's in the Hall of Fame.
And you're going to
listen, I get it.
You're going to explode.
Hold on. I'm going to say this now. If Jalen Hurts goes to the Hall of Fame, I will personally pay all expense trip for Brian Attard
to go
there.
Yes.
Deal, Brian?
Awesome.
I'm going to go into that. Actually,
I don't want to go to Ohio
look,
I'll go with you, Brian.
At that point, they should just close the building because we've officially lost all point, right?
Listen, he's on track. Not for nothing. He's on track.
He is.
But hold on. You know why he's on track? Because they list like 9 average passing stats and runs for 75 yards. First quarterback ever to do this. Well, yeah, because Tom's not rushing for 75. Tom's not rushing for 7 yards. But hey, do you whatever you want to do. All right.
You're gonna.
He's definitely gonna break the touchdown rushing records for quarterbacks. That will be broken in a couple years.
I can't tell you how impressive
it
is.
It's not impressive. And Jalen Hurts is a good runner. He's not a great runner.
Everyone knows that.
They
know that.
Yeah. He's a smart runner.
I'm just talking about
smart runner.
Like the touchdown record is bullshit with this tush push 1 yard. And Saquon Barkley should be. Saquon Barkley, but this guy's just literally just the biggest vulture of all time right now.
You know what? His average rush is lower than his average pass. That's pretty low.
Yeah, that is pretty low.
We're going to talk about it.
And if you're speaking about another quarterback, then yeah.
All right. Before we get to the games, real quick, there are currently 10 undefeated teams left. Those 10 teams are Buffalo, Green Bay, Cincinnati, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, the Chargers, Indianapolis, Tampa Bay, Arizona, and Los Angeles, the Rams. LA is 4-0 combined. Since 2002, there have been 111 teams that have started 3-0. 82 of them made the playoffs. That's about a 3 out of 4% clip. So, when you see these teams, are there surprises in that list? Are there teams that you think are pretenders and will end up being part of 26% that didn't make the playoffs?
Well, I think there's 3 obvious ones. You got the Colts in there. You got Arizona. That's it, Tone.
No, I disagree with you. Arizona. I think Arizona's a contender.
No,
I bet on Arizona
to win. As I'm saying, as a surprise, being
I bet, like I said, I bet them to win the NFC West this year. I like their defense really, and I like their run game. Now I can't see like the quarterback and their lazy ass wide receiver, but
I was going to mention that they do play good defense over there.
They played good defense last year. They ran the ball well last year. They added Sweat, Brian's favorite person ever. But that's what I'm saying. I think I liked Arizona going in before season. I thought they were good. If a couple things broke right, Stafford's back doesn't hold up, Purdy's injury and McCaffrey's injury, I think they were a good contender there. As far as that happens.
Good play.
Now, the Bryce Young, Kyler Murray game last year, the midget quarterbacks is kind of funny, but I don't know if he'll throw a tamper in that. But yeah, I think Arizona. I did like Arizona a lot going in this year.
No surprise for me. Everyone that I see right here on the banner is pretty much right on the money. If I had to say the surprise, if I had to pick one, I think it would be the Indy Colts. I really thought Denver might have had a good shot of beating them last week. it wasn't for the leverage against the center on the kick. So, stupid
that
ass
was
play.
weak.
Well, so
But
I think Cincinnati, unfortunately, with Burrow's injury, I mean, it's not. We'll talk about Brown when we get to that game, but
Trevor Lawrence sucks ass.
Unfortunately,
but Indy, yeah.
Trevor's on fire this season. What are you talking about? The
y'all watch that game last week?
The Niners.
No, he has. He has never watched a Trevor Lawrence game. Mine has never fucking sat down and watched the Jacksonville Jaguars game from start to finish.
Great
I will bet a lot of money on that.
Great numbers. By the way, the Rangers play at 1 today. I'm very excited about that.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
The Niners to me.
You and 50 other people.
Hey, 51 elite people. Thank you, Drew. The Niners now without Purdy, I don't think miss a beat, frankly, but I think their 2-0 is a little bit hollow. I don't really look at them as a team. I thought they actually would finish last their division, if I'm being honest with you. So I think that they might fall off a little bit. Big fan of what the Chargers are doing. You know, the thing about the Colts is, you know, unless you were like me and picked the Jags to win the division, you pretty much probably thought Houston runs away with it. Well, they're 0-2, so there's a gap now. We'll talk about them in the next bit here. I also like Arizona. I think Arizona's a borderline playoff team. I think they can get in, especially if they get a win today. They're really in great shape. I love the Rams. I think the Rams are an excellent team with an excellent quarterback. Green Bay obviously might be the best team in the NFC at this point. And I thought that I thought they were going to be very. I picked them in the Super Bowl before the season started. Not so much because of Micah Parsons. I just think that their team is very good, and it's not even necessarily about Love. I don't think Love is good, but he has a lot of great qualities. Of this list, if I had to pick teams that will fall off, Cincy, just based on the Burrow injury, the Niners I think are a touch overrated, and the Colts might be riding a high. The rest can sustain, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
I'm not. It's a little early to talk about undefeated teams after 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, but the numbers are there. And it's also not too early to talk about winless teams because there are 10 teams who have not won a game yet. And since 2000, 117 teams have started 0-3, and only one has made the postseason. That was the Texans in 2018, and only 6 teams ever. So when you look at this list, some of these are obvious, some of these are not. You know, you look at this and say, the Jets are on this list. No shit. Okay, that's kind of where they are every year. Cleveland probably has a permanent spot on this list. The Giants, you know, might be leading the conference on this list. The Bears are the Bears, Anthony. I'll give you a second in a minute. Saints stink. Miami stinks. Carolina stinks. So you look here and you say, well, I mean, this is clearly recoverable depending on what happens today. Are Houston and Kansas City, right? Houston, because, you know, I don't think they're any worse than the second worst best team in that division, top to bottom, and Kansas City is Kansas City. But you got to win today, or else, you know, it's going to get ugly very quickly.
I think the only team really that needs to hit the panic button, and if you watch the games, Kansas City. I mean, really, that's the team because they have the expectations. None of these teams on the list had any expectations except maybe the Houston Texans, kind of with a bounce back, you know, of some of their early things. But with the Mixon injury, kind of set that back a little bit, and they're still going to be a tough team in it because that's just kind of what they do with that division. But Kansas City really needs to kind of have a wake up call here and turn things around. Other than that, you know, everything else I think is kind of par for the course, and should be because you know they're still rebuilding.
Yeah, I agree. The New York Jets will always be the New York Jets. I'm done with Justin Fields. The hot and cold is just it's redundant at this point. Cleveland is a shell of themselves, and they're a massage therapist away from being extinct from the NFL. So I'm done with Cleveland. Houston is the most surprising thing for me because I thought they would at least win one of these games last 2 weeks, but the offensive line is atrocious. He has no help outside of Nico. And the defense, I thought the defense was going to be a lot better than what it's showcasing. Tennessee, they're just a working development project. Casey, I think will figure itself out when they get the guys back, when they need to get back. But their running game is a big issue, like Quig said earlier in the show. Giants, Dabble's about to be fired in a couple of weeks. They need to start over and see what they're going to do. I'll leave Chicago for Ant. Carolina, Bryce Young was the wrong pick. New Orleans, just a joke. of a franchise. I don't know why Kellen Moore even wanted to go down there. And Miami's Miami. All par for course. Besides Houston. Besides Houston for me, Brian. All par for course.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say all these teams are cooked this year. I really think Kansas City is going to struggle throughout the year. Tony talked about it. They have absolutely no running game, and they have no wide receivers right now. And I think it's going to be a tough test for Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he could pull it off. Even the great Patrick Mahomes could pull it off. So I think they're going to struggle, and I think every team on here is going to struggle, to be honest with you, for the rest of the year. If Houston loses today, stick a fork in them. The Bears were eliminated week 1. I'm just going to go on a limb and say all these teams are cooked.
What's the issue for Chicago in your eyes?
Fuck the Bears! Fuck Chicago! Fuck you!
Sorry.
Drew, I could go on for days what I see. Their first fucking 4 draft picks.
What's the most glaring?
They don't even use. They drafted 4 guys they don't even use.
So are you leaning on my side now?
Loveland, yeah. Well, Loveland.
You gave me shit for saying it.
I did. Listen. I'm wrong. But
okay.
And then they got the next 2 guys, and the lineman and the defensive play, healthy scratches. Their first 4 picks have not contributed one bit. And
God for a doomsday.
Their defense is absolutely shredded. Injuries, and they're just cooked on defense.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you who the player of the week of week 3 is going to be. It's going to be Dak Prescott. Very simple. Week 1, and player of the week was JJ McCarthy. Week 2 was Jared Goff. You know what they had in common? They played
the Bears. Yep.
That's crazy.
What's up? Is Jalen Johnson out for the year?
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty much.
Not
what's wrong with him?
It was something with his groin. Yeah.
The lack of balls down there. That's the problem with his groin.
Yeah, listen, the organizations, it's crazy. I tempered my expectations this year because it's just I'm through it. I'm numb to all the pain. I watch these games just numb.
So let me ask you this. After I win all the money on the 1 o'clock games, how do you not after watching the Cowboys just get beat with no pass rush, just get torched? How does the over 50.5
better not
get hammered?
I agree. Tony, the only thing that scares me is everyone's taking it. That's my only.
Well, right, exactly. So by 4 o'clock, it might be 56, but no, it's just. We'll get more into that specific matchup, I guess, later. But
yeah,
I will say this. I think that there's a lot of desire to stomp on Kansas City's grave, and I think that that's a little premature. They were in that Charger game until the end, and it was in Brazil, and crazy shit happens. They should have won the game last week. They didn't. I get it. They should have. They played well enough to win that game. They just didn't win.
If Kelsey catches the ball.
I don't think they're dead at all. Too much talent around. I don't think Houston's dead because they're in an awful division. So even if they do turn 0-3 with a bad loss to Jacksonville, which would look really bad, but I think it's just a bad enough division. That team, you're looking at 10-win in the division. So I think it's going to be the battle of the bottom feeders in that division. So
that
point.
All right. We will kick off today in Ohio as the 2-0 Green Bay Packers visit the 0-2 Cleveland Browns. Green Bay laying 8.5, 41.5 is the number. You can ignore that Josh Allen number, which I don't know why that's there. That's my fault. Green Bay 6-0 in week 3 under LaFleur. For Myles Garrett needs 2.5 sacks to pass Reggie White for the most since 1982 by a player under 30. You got 2 really good pass rushers in this game, obviously. Micah Parsons on one end and Myles Garrett on the other. Quinshon Judkins going to hit his first start as a running back after his offseason issues. Jaden Reed's out for a while with a collarbone injury. My first question here, guys, we all think the Browns stink. That's not really good excuse. But when you look at Green Bay, where do you rank them in the NFC right now?
I'm not talking about Green Bay.
All right, so Anthony obviously he's going to recluse. He's going to recluse himself, and that's okay. That's fair.
I put them borderline 2 or 3
behind.
Behind
who?
Philly.
Listen, I agree with Drew. Until somebody beats the Super Bowl champs,
until someone beats them.
they have to be number one, and that's not a hard number one. And Green Bay's defenses look good against a couple not so great teams.
Exactly.
The boviation of Michael Parsons and those two games have been out of control.
Yep.
But the other guys are stepping up and they've been playing good. They still have a lot of issues in their secondary. Let's not that out of it.
Yep.
And they still have Jordan Love with
their O-line quick. Their right side of the line is not that good, dude.
Yeah, and getting back to this game, I love Cleveland plus 8.5. Give me 8.5 as a home dog. I mean, that's one of Mead's fucking favorite things, right? Is home dogs and BBLs. But the other thing is we're I think it's a good matchup. I think Njoku and Fanning are going to be able to expose that on some quick hitters with Flacco. Flacco's a smart quarterback. I don't know if Judkins will do much to the running game because I think that's more of a blocking issue and a thing. But I think the Browns have enough fight in them to be able to cover this 8.5, if not even kind of pull upright. It's just one of them. It seems to me it's like one of them games where everybody loves the Packers.
1 o'clock.
Here it is. It's just like, oh, okay, here we're putting a pedestal. But there's a lot of lipstick on. I'm not going to say a pig, but I don't think I don't think the Packers are as good as have they displayed in 2-0. I also don't think the Browns are as bad as 0-2 that they are either. I think they have playmakers on ball, and they're going to come in there and play. Garrett, Garrett's on the field. You got to
beast, man,
do something, And Jordan Love is the most accurate. And name your good wide receiver on Green Bay.
Nobody.
Right now they got Dobbs. It's Dobbs.
Oh, I know.
Dobbs.
I could name Devontae Wicks. Right.
Matthew Golden has been a disappointment these last 2 weeks.
MIA, right? Matthew Golden's been a disappointment.
It's Tucker Kraft. You got Tucker Kraft. He's hurt.
Tucker
beat up. He's going to play today, but he's beat up,
Playing
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot that could go really bad with this offense. And Josh Jacobs with an 11 touchdown streak, that possibly could end today. Because I think it's going to be a matter of pride, and I don't think Josh Jacobs is an elite running back. I think he's a very good running back. He's a good running back, productive running back in a system, but he's not elite. There's probably about 10 running backs on top of your head you could snatch up before him that you'd rather have on your team. So I just think it's a interesting part of this Browns game. I like the Browns. I think they're going to show some fight.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Tony. I'm grabbing the 8.5 here. I mean, I watched the Browns play Cincinnati week 1 at home, and they shut Cincinnati down the whole game. I mean, you see the over-under here is 41.5, so you're not going to see many points in this game today. I think it's going to be two defenses playing really well. It's going to be a struggle, and I'm gonna take the 8.5 here. I mean, maybe even if the Packers win by 7, you're still winning some money here. So, yeah, give me the Browns plus 8.5 on the home dog.
We saw the Browns last week shut down Derrick Henry, where Derrick Henry only had 2 points in fantasy. Lamar, he had 4 touchdowns, but he struggled in the first half a little bit too. Cleveland shut down Cincinnati, like Quig said, and like Ann said. This Cleveland defense, a lot of people are not talking about the rookie Mason Graham, defensive tackle plug monster on both A gaps and B gaps. He's so versatile, it's ridiculous. I think Jacob's going to have a hard time. I think Jordan Love's going to have a hard time today. But I will pick the Packers eventually, essentially because of their defense. And not a lot of people. I'm surprised a lot of people are talking about Rashawn Gary. The fact that Michael Parsons is there, it makes his life a lot more easier. And we're going to see how elite he is this year as a pass rusher. A lot of people don't know and broadcast him on the national stage. But having those two, I mean, that trade right now, we're going to wait and see. But that trade, it might have made a big difference in overall for Green Bay and what I expect them to be this season from a team success. But Cleveland's got to get some respect because their defense is really good, dude. It's really good.
It has been for a while. I think Parsons really has it on Lucas Van Ness. I think that opens him up a lot more. And that was a lot of the things in Dallas people don't always talk about is like, it's not always the stat sheet, right? I mean, if you have to account for this guy, then someone else is going to have a little bit of more of a free run to the quarterback or more time, right? So it's not everything always shows up in the stat sheet, for people that look at fantasy football and think running backs that get yards are good as a result. Trade was fine. I have no problem with the trade for reasons we'll get to later. But no, I mean, look, Green Bay might not cover, but if Green Bay doesn't win this game, Green Bay is probably going to be the hot survivor pick of the day. It's not mine, but I'm sure it's going to be one of the hot ones.
Saving them.
Yeah, saving them. Trying to steal one. other places.
I hope everybody takes the Packers because I love it. Outside road, outside teams on the road, outside division teams on the road, it's a death sentence to a lot of survivor pools.
Brian, hold on. A statement came out from Ian. If Carson Wentz has a decent to good game today, expect him to keep leading the charge, even if JJ comes back.
But hold on. I just heard a report coming out today that JJ's not expected back till week 7 at the earliest.
Yeah. So they're
they're
saying Carson Wentz is on a roll, he's just going to stay at
but
the quarterback.
It's not going to be. I don't care what Rappaport said. If Carson Wentz goes out there and throws for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, he still has a few more games to actually show what Carson Wentz actually is.
I agree with you.
So, that's a ridiculous statement by Rappaport. But you know what? He's fallen way behind in a lot of sensational media. Him and Matthew Berry, their decline in the last few years have been, hysterical.
Matthew Berry's on NBC. I don't think anyone listens to him anymore.
Not too many people really listen to him when he was calling himself the fabulous Roto guy or whatever.
Oh God!
It was.
But Matthew Berry.
Somebody we know called themselves the statistically superior Mr. Roto.
Yeah, well, he probably is a fucking idiot Rangers fan too.
He is not.
No. Who are you talking about?
Our friend Nick.
Oh,
wow,
that's your guy. That's your brother.
Anyway, before I get myself taken off the air, the 2-0 Indianapolis Colts visit the 0-2 Tennessee Titans, laying 5.5, 43.5 is the number. Indy can become the first team ever to score in their first 10 possessions of the season. They are 2-0 for the first time since 2009. Cam Ward leads the NFL in things you don't want to lead the NFL, and he's been sacked 11 times, and he's been hit 23 times. I will say this, the best development about Daniel Jones with the Colts is that Indiana Jones is a hell of a better nickname than Danny Dimes. It has just a better connotation. It just feels totally different. Best name in football right now. Colts off to a great start, but if you're a Tennessee fan, you can take some solace in the fact that, they were pretty competitive in the game against Denver. Like, they were leading that game for a good portion of it. Last week against the Rams, look, the Rams are a really, really good team. Like, that's going to happen. So, again, baby steps to the rookie quarterback. Look, I mean, the Colts are on fire. I don't know that's, that may flame out earlier. It might not flame out today, but I got to look at their schedule, see what it is. But at the same time, like, I don't know what to make of them yet. Is this just, Jones?
I mean, is the nickname change akin to when Kobe, left 8 to become 24? I mean, is that what's going on? I mean, is that what we're going to see? A whole new Danny Dimes or AKA Indiana Jones nonsense? Listen, it's just a better fit, right? I mean, if you look at Anthony Richardson, you look at Daniel Jones, they're kind of similar, except Daniel Jones could throw a spiral. But it's a great offensive fit for him. I mean, it's I don't know what Dable was doing with him, trying to make him the next Josh Allen or whatever the nonsense was happening in Giants. Even before that, this is a great fit for him. They have an elite tight end as a rookie now. Unfortunately, Colston Loveland was drafted ahead of him, but that's also scheme and stuff like that too. If Loveland was in Indianapolis, he would be doing a great job too. And
1,000%.
A healthy John Taylor is a top probably 3 running back in the league, and it's just and he's healthy and he's doing his thing. He's a yards monster. They move the chains. They're playing defense. I mean, it's they're playing within themselves, and this is going to be a tough matchup for Tennessee, even as a home dog. I'm not touching them. Because I just don't think Cam Ward is really an elite quarterback. He could be a developmental quarterback into something, but they haven't been getting that offense going at all. A couple guys have made plays here and there, but no running game, no passing game. Very hard to win. You're gonna have to depend on the defense making a play, or really in that case, how the defense is going. It's more of Daniel Jones or somebody else on the Colts making a mistake.
You touched on it, Tone. I think Daniel Jones it's simple, just coaching. I mean, he went from the Giants to Minnesota, good coach, good quarterback coach, and he comes to Indianapolis, same thing. I think it's just coaching and the pieces around him. Good, a solid running game, like Tony said. Jonathan Taylor is definitely a top 5 back in the league. So he's got the pieces there, and he's just efficient with the football. I mean, and that's what happens.
I'm not gonna push back on both of you, but I'm gonna say this, and don't laugh at me for saying it, but I've been about the Colts this whole offseason since they made the decision of starting Daniel Jones. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be one of the biggest busts we have ever seen in the NFL history, because I don't know. To this day, I remember when we did the draft, I said it's the most stupidest pick you can make for a guy that only started like 11 or 13 games in college.
Did you see the article that they're trying to suggest to him to play tight end?
Yeah, it's stupid. So they did it for Tebow, might as well do it for him.
That's crazy.
But listen, but Brian, this is the greatest offense. This is the greatest offense that Daniel Jones has ever been a part of. This is the greatest offensive scheme he's ever been a part of. This is the greatest. This is the big one right here. This is the greatest organization that he could have went to, because this organization is set and sound. It's prolific from its history, and it knows what they have. They have a top 3 offensive line that can protect him that he's never had before in his history of his career. He has, which I agree with you guys. I think JT is a top 2 running back in the NFL when he's healthy, which alleviates a lot of pressure and pain that Daniel Jones, and they drafted brilliantly with Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren makes your life a lot more easier as a quarterback. They hit those soft windows, hit the coverages, the zone spots. The guy's IQ is insane as the tight end. And yes, I'm not crazy about Michael Pittman, but they do have a guy named Josh Downs who's been his savior on 3rd down and 2nd down on passing plays for Daniel Jones. They're making it easy for him. Shane Steichen is making it easy for him. His teammates love him. According to the reports, I got a guy who is a big Indy fan, and the insider is basically telling all of us that Anthony Richardson didn't even have a shot. According to what the media was telling us, it's close. It was never close. But yeah, and their defense is sneaky good. They played Denver last week, and Bo Nix hasn't looked great this season, but I expect this team and possibly the Texans or Jags to be fighting for the division title at the end of the year. And I did pick the Colts as my 7th seed to get in. So it's one of my hot takes I had this year, and so far it looks good, but we'll see if Daniel Jones doesn't self-destruct himself.
I gotta disagree with one point too about the stability of the Colts organization, Drew. I think they've been a laughing stock the last few years. I mean, Irsay, you see what happened.
I'm talking about the past, though, bro. I'm talking about the past.
I said the last 5 years, or whatever it is. I mean, they try to throw Matt Ryan and Phillips. And
I agree on that part.
Wentz.
I mean, it's been a kind of a joke. And then, are you seeing what's going on in the sidelines? Jerry Jones has some competition now.
Yeah.
I mean, she is
micromanaging.
Irsay is like, she is going into, I don't know, spirals, or what the hell she is doing on the sidelines. I understand her trying to be involved, but man, oh man, some of the facial expressions that they've been showing out there, like, when she's hearing call plays, and it's interesting. I obviously, just looking for a far with somebody in a headset, you don't really know what's going on in that headset, what was actually really said. So there's a lot of speculation there, but I don't know. The Colts organization, it's going to be interesting to see if this doesn't become more meddlesome. Now, it'll never be a big talking point because it is Indiana Colt, and it is the Colts, so it's not going to be next level media fodder, but it's going to be interesting to see how that develops.
Quick, what's better, the Colts organization, the Giants organization in the last 20 years?
Giants
won a couple Super Bowls.
Giants won a Super Bowl. Easy.
Really?
2.
Easy.
I don't know about that.
2 Super Bowls, yeah, he's not easy.
2 Super Bowls to 1. I mean, it's one more, but from a stability and a continuity standpoint, I'm taking Indy over New York any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
I will say this. I will say, to have Peyton Manning for as long as they did and only win once, I think is a problem. The same way that for the Packers have Rodgers.
He went against the GOAT.
Yeah, he goes
during the GOAT time.
Hey, not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, just raw numbers. You'd always be remembered as
Brady's ruined a lot of.
Drew, and that's a really low blow, Drew. I'm just going to tell you that now, to bring up a Colts Super Bowl victory. It's really
a low blow.
That's just uncalled for. I'm not going to stand for that.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Sticking up
my
for
bad.
me.
My bad. You guys got the greatest kick return of all time. Good job.
I mean, listen. I think if you asked Ant before that game, he's like, Who's our quarterback? All right.
Yes.
That game was closer than it should have been.
What? No. That
the weather kept it that way.
The weather.
That might have been, to be fair, and it's not. That might have been one of the most epic quarterback mismatches in Super Bowl history.
Yeah. So that Bears defense was.
No.
Was
so
ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
They were
Unbelievable. They were that year.
Yeah.
They got there with
Who was it?
Rex
Grossman. It was Rex Grossman, right?
Yeah, it was Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like the Flyers go to the final with Michael Leighton for the hockey fans.
And who was your guys' leading receiver that year?
I think is Machine Muhammad.
Was it Machine Muhammad in that team that year?
He was on the team.
It was after his stint in Carolina.
The running back was Jones.
Thomas Jones.
Was Urlacher still on that team?
Yeah, it was Urlacher, Briggs, Peanut Tillman.
Hold on, I'm checking it right now. They were 13-3 that year. They were 13-3 that year.
I think their defense scored 11.
That defense was nasty, bro.
So Rex Grossman had 3,200 yards and 23 touchdowns with 20 interceptions. That's very
God.
Jameis Winston. That's Jameis Winston light.
Because he's a gator. He's a gator. That's why.
Thomas Jones had 12-10 on the ground. Cedric Benson 647.
Benson, yeah.
Who was the receiver?
The receiver was Musin Muhammad 863.
Nice call, Ant.
Bernard Berrien 775.
Yep.
Who's the tight end?
Clark.
Desmond Clark 626.
Oh, nice.
Kicker Robbie Gold, AP kicker of the year.
Brian, how many touchdowns did their defense score that year?
It's a great question.
That was the peanut punch year. He was punching every ball out.
Everything out.
So apparently they had one interception touchdown, 2 fumble recoveries for touchdowns. I'm looking for anything else.
I thought they had a lot.
This website doesn't really give me exactly.
He had a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
2 kickoffs.
Well, yeah, all Hester.
Well, Devin Hester had 2 kickoffs. He also returned a field goal for 1.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's that. Colts should win the game.
Yeah.
Now you want to talk about a big quarterback matchup. Big quarterback matchup up in Minnesota today, as it's Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Now, Minnesota's laying 3 on this. Over-under's 41.5. Jamar Chase has 8 career games with $150 or more, and a touchdown that's tied with Jerry Rice for the most ever in the first 5 years of a career. Justin Jefferson needs 819 yards, have the most ever by anybody in his first 6 seasons. So you have these 2 elite wide receivers in this game and very little quarterback play. I think that
3 elite wide receivers.
2.5 elite wide receivers.
Like it.
2.5 elite wide receivers in this game. And, again, it speaks to, work on your offensive lines. A lot of people, again, they think that the Bengals are done without Burrow. I think it's a tough ask, right? But, Jake Browning was not that bad a couple of years ago when he filled in for Joe Burrow on an injury. He had over 70% completion percentage. He averaged about 267 a game. He had 12 passing touchdowns in 7 games. He went 4-3, right? Like, if he can do that, if they can go 12 games, if they can go 7-5, gets them to, they'd be 9-5 by the time he got back. Like, it's not dead, right? But the 2-0 is a really good start. They needed that. We'll see where that goes. Carson Wentz will set NFL record today, becoming the first quarterback ever to start for 6 different teams in 6 different seasons.
Jeez.
The Eagles, the Colts, the Commanders, the Chiefs, the Rams, and today the Minnesota Vikings, who after this game, our friends, will spend 2 games in a row in Europe. They're going to Dublin, Ireland next week to face Pittsburgh. They will go to London the week after to take on the Browns. I don't know what to make of this game other than I don't know. I think the Vikings need it more than the Bengals do to keep pace in their division. The Bengals, I think, are just trying to tread water until hopefully Joe comes back. We'll see where that goes. You have any concerns?
So, no, I was just gonna say I'm gonna take Minnesota on this line. I'm just gonna take Minnesota on the money line. I'm basing this strictly on defense. I think Flores is gonna just blitz all day on Browning, and I think it's gonna give him a lot of issues. So yeah, I'm rolling with Minnesota on the money line here, and a Mason touchdown. I like him today.
Real quick, only because we're talking about it, Jay Glazer says the 3-month return that's been mentioned is viewed as a very optimistic timeline. So if Cincy makes the playoffs, that would be, I think, that they're saying more likely for to come back.
No,
I don't see that happening.
I don't see that. I don't see that. No.
But listen, I'm a big believer in the Bengals today. I don't think Minnesota's really been tested. They played 2 bad teams. Well, I won't call Atlanta bad. They played 2 offenses that aren't 100% firing. They've gotten shut down, but Minnesota's offense is just not there. I mean, they had one lucky half against the Bears to start the season, and with the comeback and that kind of stuff. I don't have any faith in Carson Wentz doing anything more than J.J. McCarthy did with it. He's more mistake prone. He's he does have a lot of errors. That offensive line hasn't really been protecting McCarthy. It's not going to protect Wentz. Every characteristic of a rookie or young quarterback looking to play the game, Carson Wentz still carries to this day. And, holds the ball too long, all kinds of nonsense, makes dumb mistakes. And I think the Bengals are capitalized. I think Browning has a great feel for that offense. He has a ton of weapons around him, and I think they're going to expose Minnesota, and I think it's going to be really difficult for Minnesota to kind of get the track back. Jordan Mason, in for Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Listen, if he was that good, he would be Aaron Jones outright. Jordan Mason was the darling of fantasy football drafts and everything like that because he did a great job in Minnesota. I don't know if there's elite talent there, though. I'm not a big Aaron Jones fan either. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll probably do the same as what Aaron Jones would do, or vice versa. It's not like you're getting some starter off the bench now that's going to come in and light up the offense. It is the Bengals defense though, so yeah, he could be protected, but it's not going to be anything that would be abnormal from what Aaron Jones does. So I don't think there's a huge uptick in production there. I just think it's going to come down to the mistakes, and I'll bet on Carson Wentz making mistakes.
Yeah, I got Bengals win this game as well too. They're going to go 3-0, which is crazy without Joe Burrow. But yeah, everything Quig said, I agree on. There's nothing else I need to touch on that.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have struggled defensively this year, and they have a matchup today in New England against the Pats, who are also 1-1. They're a 1.5 favorite on the road. 44.5 is the number. Aaron Rodgers needs just 1 touchdown to take sole possession of the 4th most ever by a quarterback in NFL history of 508 touchdowns. The Pats defense, with some really good coaching from Mike Vrabel, leads the NFL with 9 sacks. That's the most by a New England team in the past, 10 years. I had the Pats making the playoffs this year. I think they still sneak in, but I thought they would have beaten the Raiders. So I guess that I would have had them 2-0 by now. Just kind of interesting. I like what I'm seeing from Drake May. I think I expect to see more of it. Hunter Henry is probably somebody who wasn't really drafted in fantasy leagues, who's been a really impact tight end for them. For Pittsburgh, I mean, look, they've played 2 games against the Jets and Dolphins and allowed, I think, an average of 31 points in each one. Like, that's not Steeler defense. They got to fix that stat.
Look at this matchup. I'm a big believer in New England. Their misuse of Travion Henderson right now is a little head scratching. Last week, I don't know. He's their playmaker, but Stevenson had a big run. They need to get the ball in the hands of the wideouts. Pop Douglas, who like you talk about people who should be involved in fantasy darlings and sleepers, he hasn't been involved at all. And and last year, him and Drake May had developed a really good rapport at the end of the year. So I think that's a big factor to play. And Aaron Rodgers, he has to get the ball to DK. DK has to catch the ball. I mean, that's the thing. Jalen Warren uptick in usage last week. I think that's the way they should go. Another rookie, Caleb Johnson, MIA, big mistake in week 1, cost him a game. So the Patriots still gave up big points to Miami, right? So it's not like their defense is locking down. So I mean, the Raiders lost, Miami big points. I like the over in this game. I think it's one of them games, like people just kind of assume that there's defense is being played by Patriots and Mike Vrabel, and there's defense being played with Tomlin and the Steelers. I think it's a misnomer. I'll take the over. I do like New England to win just because they're at home, but I think this should be a pretty entertaining game, and I think they're going to have something they're going to have something to kind of be attributed to.
Yeah, this is a tough one today. I kind of do agree with you over. I think there's going to be some points played in this game. I'm leaning more the Steelers here. I think they could pull it off. I like DK to score today. I think that's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's looking at him often. So give me DK on a scoring touchdown, and I'll take Pittsburgh today on the 1.5.
Drew, are you still upset you didn't draft Trayvon Henderson?
I'm mad. The Bears didn't draft Trayvon Henderson. He was right there. They hovering right around there.
I think Henderson will be a lot more involved this week. I think it was an anomaly last week of what happened.
I have him in a couple leagues, and I'm hoping like by week 6 or 7, he'll be one of those guys where he's just being a horse.
I got the Patriots winning this game. It's going to be a very close game. I'm with Tone once again on the over on not this being a real big defensive game. You already know, Brian, how I feel about Drake May. I think this is going to be a breakout year for him. And have you guys seen Johnson at tackle at New England, the rookie that they picked this year? My God,
awesome.
Is that man is an animal. Good Lord. With that being said, dude, I got the Patriots winning. I do have them as one of my playoff teams for AFC. They got to win these games.
You talk about Will Campbell, right?
I'm sorry, Will Campbell. My bad. My bad. Apologies.
But you know what though, Drew? Doesn't that speak?
He has short arms, Drew. He has short arms.
So is a T-Rex. You want to play?
Who is the guy that I was trying to remember who said that?
A lot of people just kind of took the narrative after the combine and ran with it. Yeah,
I'm done with the short arm narrative.
I don't know. This guy has more elite profile, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, Will Campbell been the best.
He didn't give up a sack.
2 years.
Yeah, he reminds me of Joel a lot, really, honestly.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities there, and none of them are bad.
No.
The marquee game of the 1:00 window would be the Los Angeles Rams at 2-0 visiting the Eagles at 2-0. Eagles are a 3.5 point favorite. 44.5 is the number. For the Rams, they are 9-0 in games that Matthew Stafford has sacked once or less since the start of last season. The Eagles have won 9 of their last 10 against the Rams, including the playoffs last year, which, if you recall, that was the Eagles' toughest game, I think, of their playoff run. The Rams kept that close despite the snow and them being a dome team and everything else. The Eagles come into this game with as many passing teams as I have, but they have a lead quarterback. So, with this one, I got to tell you, if the story to me in this game is if they're genuinely going to call the tush push tightly, I think the Rams win the game. I think they
over that one play
because they won't be able to do it, right? And I think that you may get that overcorrectness based on last week because now the eyes are on it because now you've said something. So now the referees almost feel the pressure to overcall it. And again, I thought the Rams were good enough to beat the Eagles last year. I think the Rams are a very, very good football team with a great quarterback.
Well, as you guys know, the Rams they're my Super Bowl pick winners for this year. And this game's tough. I'm pissed off at the NFL because you should be able to flex games whenever they want. And the fact that this is not a Sunday night game pisses me off. I don't want to watch the Chiefs and Giants on Sunday. I'm still going to watch it. I just don't want to watch it on prime time. Second thing for me, man, I'm with you, Brian. I got the Rams winning this game in a I don't know if who's the favorite right now? Philly?
Equals by 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, I got the Rams winning this game too. I want to see a dominance by the Rams offensive line against that massive defensive front by Philly. I think they could do it. I think they're capable of doing it. I want the secondary for the Eagles are not good, guys. I really think that's the Achilles heel right there for them. And if you have time with Stafford, who I think still to this day is so underrated, I think if you give him a little bit of time to pick apart that defense of Vic Fangio's, he could do it. And Puka Nuka, and Devontae Adams, and can I say I want to see a game. I want to see Ben Johnson, how he installed Swift on the first game of the season. I want to see that with Kyron Williams. I want to see him break out and be this dog that he could be. Not worry about fumbling issues, because if you go back to the playoff game last year, he fumbled. I want to see him be this dog, but he's a lot like what Quick said earlier about Josh Jacobs. He's a good running back, but he's not elite. I want him to get into that conversation, and I feel like we're waiting for that game for him to do that, where he can go on this trend, because he does have good hands. He is a good route runner from a running back standpoint, but it's just he's so inconsistent sometimes it pisses me off. So that's my key matchup, is seeing what Kyron could do in this game, but I'm going to take the Rams.
It's tough because the Rams haven't beaten the Eagles under Stafford, right? So even though Stafford's beautiful to watch throw the football, right? I mean, his arm, he makes every throw. It's definitely, you're gonna have the last, the matchup on the outside, with Devontae Adams, tying up Q, and that's probably gonna be shy. So I think Puka is just gonna eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. But on the other side, listen, the Rams have to prove that they have to stop somebody. I think I like Devontae Smith today for an anytime touchdown, to break that record of Hurts not throwing a touchdown. But on the other thing, it's a matchup. I don't know. Saquon, he just does the Rams too dirty, and I think it's a difficult game. I'll never take a West Coast team too often at a 1:00 game.
That's like the only concern.
Champions, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I'm buying the hook. Give me Eagles -3. I think Saquon has a big day. I think Devontae Smith has a big day. I think Puka has a big day. I like the over as well. I think there'll be some points scored in it, but it could be in the Rams trailing and coming back and Stafford throwing a couple touchdowns. So give me Puka over 80. Give me Saquon for 2 touchdowns and the Eagles -3.
I'm going to go with the Rams today. I'm going to take this 3.5. I think they've been chomping at the bit. They've had this game marked up for a while. They've been talking about it. I think they're going to come ready to play today. And I think right now, the state of the Eagles, I think this is the time to get the Eagles. Their defense, their defensive backfield's not really the best right now. A lot of, Hurts, obviously, we know what he's going on with the offense. I really think this depends on Hurts today. I think the Rams are going to concentrate on really taking Barkley out of the game and try to make Hurts beat them. I think if the Eagles fall down by, a touchdown or 2, I think you're going to have to see what the Eagles are going to really be made of offensively. Throwing the ball for 100 yards will not win the ball game today. So I'm going to take the Rams here. I like Puka with his yards, and I like Devontae Adams touchdown.
Jalen Hurts has 253 total yards passing this year. Jake Browning played a half and has 241.
Yeah, I mean,
You're waiting.
Matt, the Niners have 2 guys ahead of Jalen Hurts.
I think that's the Rams' plan today. I think the Rams are going to come out. They're going to throw the ball.
Such an asshole.
I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. Try to get the Eagles to play from behind. I think that's the only way you could really do it. I don't think Williams is. I don't think he's going to be a real factor today, because I think the Rams are really going to try to throw the ball.
I think the Eagles might try to throw the ball too because of the criticism.
I don't know about that.
They also may overcorrect.
I don't know about that.
No.
I don't know about that. I think they're going to stick to what they do. I think the Eagles have been very stubborn. I mean, they're not really giving in to what the public's been preaching.
Go ahead.
Real quick, just want to jump in because we were talking about awful quarterbacks or anything like that, right? New Heisman odds have came out. Anybody want to guess who's the odds-on favorite for the Heisman?
The kid from Oklahoma. The kid, what's the
Dylan Roy or something like that?
Raiola, no. Dylan Roy just got beat by Michigan yesterday. He's a clown, that kid. John Mateer from Oklahoma. Mateer from Oklahoma. Number 2 is Fernando Mendoza, Carson Beck, Josh Over, Dante Moore, Gunnar Stockton. So we're not tanking for a quarterback this year, Mr. Attard. No one's trying to trade up to get Arch Manning and all that other nonsense. He's not even on the list. So.
Do you like what you've seen from the Oklahoma quarterback?
I like what I see.
I'm not in love with any of them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's
College development of quarterback is a problem. It is.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's going to roll up. So be aware of that. I just
it's been for 10 years.
Yeah,
it's getting worse.
Been
nothing new there.
It's getting worse. It's one of those things where Eagles fans want you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears when it comes to their quarterback. It's just so stupid. Give me a Rams today. I'm sure I'll be wrong because that's fine. Neither here nor there.
Sprinkle on the money lines.
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel confident, sprinkle on the money line.
The Buccaneers are 2-0. The Jets are 0-2, and Tyrod Taylor starting the game. Tampa Bay is a 6.5-point favorite at home. 43.5 is the number in the creamsicle jerseys today. He can become the 5th quarterback since the year 2000 to start and win for 6 different teams. I don't think Wentz won with every
Not
team.
creamsicle, bro. Not creamsicle.
What are they? I thought
They're all white. They're all white throw box.
They're all white.
Looking crispy. Bucks by $1 million a day.
Mayfield is the second Tampa Bay quarterback to begin the season with 2 game-winning drives, which I know gets Drew a little happy in his pants for me to use that term.
Thank you.
There you go. Look, this is another going to be a very popular Survivor pick. Now,
it is mine, and that was before the uniforms.
That's fair. That's fair. So my biggest question today is, so Emeka Egbuka is on a snap count allegedly. Some say he is, some say he's not. I'm going to have to start him in fantasy. I don't necessarily love the idea, but he's been too productive not to. The only thing my concern would be is if this game gets out of hand in the first half, he's just going to put his ass on a bench in the second half. You won't see him.
Yeah.
I heard hearing a wide receiver on a snap count isn't something that is normal in the vernacular of football, right? Because first of all, I mean, was Randy Moss on a snap count when he didn't run routes? Is Marvin Harrison Jr. now on a snap count when he doesn't run routes? I don't know. So, I mean, like, you could just go out there and stand out there if you know that it's a running play the opposite, and that's kind of what they do anyway. A lot of receivers. It's just a weird term. I wouldn't start Mbuke, although I do love the matchup for him. I mean, you have Sauce Gardner out there trying to pretend he was good a couple of years ago, but I think he's going to be matched up more on Mike Evans. So it is going to be a opportunity for a sneaky touchdown for Mbuke. But like I said, I think this is a big day for Bucky Irvin, Mike Evans, Baker, a couple, 2 or 3 touchdowns, easy. I just don't see the Jets having enough, no pun intended, engines to kind of keep this going against the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I agree. It's Buccaneers for me. Tyrod Taylor's playing at quarterback, and the Jets are just the Jets. It's going to be. I'm really interested to see how the Buccaneers are going to be this year. I really want to see if Baker can go that next step of the echelons of the quarterbacks in his position. Can he go and reclaim that misstep that he had with the fumble that really propelled the Commanders on their run that they had last year? If he doesn't fumble that ball, we're having a different discussion. So I want to see Baker step up, and I this might be a hot take, guys, but I on game-winning drive, I picked him as my MVP this year. So we'll see if he can come through with that. But yeah, I like watching the Buccaneers play, man. They're a fun football team to watch.
Oh, I'm taking a Mike Evans touchdown today. He's due for one. That's for sure. But I'm gonna roll with the Bucks. But I'd be a little weary. This 6.5. They almost feel like they're begging you to take the Bucks. Grab that 6.5. I'll take the Bucks. Yeah, give me Mike Evans anytime on this one today.
All right. Let's try to run through these next 3 games pretty quickly because they're not really that important. And then we'll get to games we all have a vested interest in. The Commanders are 1-1. The Raiders are 1-1. 2.5 is the spread. 43.5 is the number. Vegas has 6 sacks, which is 8th in the league. Washington's beaten the Raiders 4 times back to 2009. Marcus Mariota gets the start today as Jaden Daniels are being very cautious with the leg. Probably a good idea. I don't know what to make of this game. I mean, obviously, I think the Commanders find a way to. I don't know actually because you get a West Coast team 1:00, and it's a Marcus Mariota. So,
hey, listen, Marcus Mariota had handled this real good in his with Jaden Daniels in there, and he's been a great backup. I think he's probably one of the better backups in the league. I like the Commanders today to kind of pull it up. I think you actually start to use Terry McLaurin today, and I think that'll be the big. This kid Bill. I don't see the love for him. I just don't get it. He's only there because Eckler got hurt. So, but I'll big Brock Bowers day. So I think it's going to be good basketball. I hate taking I'll take the Raiders with the points buying up to 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Raiders today. I'm gonna take them on the money line at plus 130. I think Gino's a capable quarterback to go in there and win that game. I like Brock Bowers' touchdown today. I like him over 50 yards. Be a little conservative. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Raiders here plus 130 on the money line.
I think Drew will be back in a minute here.
Hold on. I just had this come across the old Twitter verse here, or X, whatever you want to call it. The Bucks have never beaten the Jets in their all white uniforms. 76, 82, 90, 91. Wow, that'll be interesting. That's an interesting friggin' note right there,
Jets on the money line? That's a big money line too.
A hedge.
That's probably a stretch. NFC South, Falcons and Panthers. Atlanta's laying 5.5 on the road. 44.5 the number. Bijan third in scrimmage yards since 2023 when he was drafted. Ted McMillan's got 168 yards. It's the most ever by a Panther in his first 2 career games. This is one of those. Listen, very rarely is week 3 a must-win game. But if you're the Falcons and you want to keep pace with the Bucs, you gotta win this game. I don't know anyone else to say it. You're muted.
Spot on. I mean, I think what you said is exactly right. They need this win. I mean, you got to show out there. If you want to be with the big boys, you got to beat up the little boys, right? So it's just kind of how it has to go. If you want to separate yourself into the Bucs, who won the division 5 straight years, the Panthers, Falcons have to go in there and take care of business. Division game or not, they should outclass the Falcons. Just give Bijan more than 68% of the carries, please. It's just ridiculous. That kid is special to watch run.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice and quick. One more.
Yeah, take the Falcons. I love. Listen, Hunter Renfrow touchdown anytime today. I like that. It's a little long shot, but he's been getting involved.
AFC South
plus 400.
AFC South. Texans are 0-2. Texans are in a very similar boat to Atlanta. You got to win this game today, right? At the 1-1 Jags. The Jags are a 1.5-point home favorite. Houston's beaten the Jags 12-14. Jacksonville's got 375 total yards in each of their first 2 games of a season for the first time since the year 2000 because Trevor Lawrence is the man. Anyway, look, the Texans need the win, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can't fall to 0-3. I don't want to hear it. You got to go win this game today. I think they do win this game today. They've had the Jags number. I expect a big game from Nico Collins.
Every week we've been expecting the game from one of my favorite boys, Nico Collins, and he just, I don't know, needs to step it up. That's for sure. But let's real quick. Let's touch on how bad Trevor Lawrence is. Right, Brian Thomas Jr. is somebody I faded all year, and Brian, I didn't keep him in any fantasy world at all. I had him three difference because I just don't think Lawrence can, put together a good year with him. And I don't know. I'm not a CJ Stroud lover either, but man, it's this game is huge for the Texans, which is weird to say in week 3.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence putting up Jordan Love numbers. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. This Texans got to win this game, boys. I mean, Colts got Tennessee. Colts win. That puts them up 3 games in the division, and that's going to hurt Houston a lot. I'm
going
Houston.
Flip the coin.
I'm going Houston. I'm going to go Houston because the urgency of needing to win this game. I'm going to go Houston.
Excuse me.
It's a hard one.
I'm staying away from this game. Give me a Tootin touchdown today. Running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's coming along. He's on ATN's ass. They're giving him the ball. Let me get him today. Plus 295 on any time. Rootin' Tootin.
Looking for a need add-on for fantasy. Britton Strange. Houston Texans linebacking core. Not that great against tight ends so far this year. Just a little piece of nugget there.
we'll do this one first, just so we can get it out of the way. The New Orleans Saints are visiting the Seattle Seahawks. They're 1-1. Saints 0-2. Seattle's laying a touchdown and a half. The hook. 41.5 is the number. New Orleans has lost back-to-back home games to start the year for the first time since 1994. It was a great year for me personally. JSN second in the NFL in receptions and yards. Under the weather today, but he's going to play. Again, you can't necessarily, you're 1-1, so it's not a must-win game, but if you're Seattle, you want to keep pace, you got to beat the Saints coming in, who really don't care to win games.
Kenny Walker all day. That's the only thing I care about in this game. I mean, I'm not touching the 7.5 with Seattle. I don't think they're a very good team. I don't like anything on the Saints really as far as Kamara, but outside of Kamara, who's actually had a pretty productive start to the season, where you should. I'll be interested to see what our boy over there down in New Orleans can turn around this team, as far as head coach wise. I don't think he has a quarterback that could really get the job done, but Seattle wins. But I think Kenny Walker Jr. or Kenny Walker was the third. I don't want to miss one. Kenny Walker, the third, big day today.
I agree.
Yeah, this was my survivor pick this week. Seahawks. Cross my fingers.
Me too.
See what happens.
Drew, you're up. Broncos 1-1, Chargers 2-0, Chargers laying 2.5 at home, over-unders 45.5. Denver, since the start of last year, has allowed the sixth fewest explosive pass plays of 16+ yards or more, only 11% of attempts against them. Chargers looking to go 3-0 for the first time since 2002. Floor is yours, Drew.
Just real quick, I love the three key factors for this game for the Chargers to win is protection from the right side. Pickens, I don't know if you guys saw the game on Monday night, but it's the first time he had the second highest grade for pass blocking, as he didn't allow Max Crosby one pressure on Monday night, which is awesome, dude. So he's filling in huge at right tackle with obviously the loss to Slater all season. Joe Alt is going to win Protector of the Year, and it was my prediction. Shifting over to left tackle, doing great. Herbert has time to throw. Keenan Allen has been a blessing. Thank you, Chicago, for not bringing him back. I'm glad he's back home with us because we need him. For any idiot, especially the good old Chris Sims, who doesn't know shit about football, said that Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen couldn't play together. You're an idiot, and that's why you didn't survive in the NFL. Third thing, the defense. Jesse Minter will be at a new team next year for a head coach. His DC philosophy has been absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys have known who this guy is, but Dane Hindley, the middle linebacker for the Chargers, who's been absolutely
I got him on my fantasy team as my only IDPLB.
I love it. Brian, you want to know how dumb and idiotic Brandon Staley is?
How dumb and idiotic. I love this topic.
Sat him his rookie year because he's a idiot. I'm trying to work on my cousin. He's an absolute effing idiot, and that's why he should never be a head coach ever again. The defense has to be suffocating against Denver. Make Bo Nix uncomfortable. He hasn't looked great at all this year. Continue to what you're doing. Give Justin Herbert time. Play action. I want to see more. And screens. I want to see more. Amari Hampton, he's still trying to find water on this league and try to be a dog. It's going to give him some time. He's still a rookie. People need to stop pressing on him. Just continue a 50-50 split between him and Najee Harris. Control the clock, TOP. That's the bread and butter for the Chargers. And I hope the last thing I want to say is I hope and see Quentin Johnston continue his confidence booster, keep going up. He's getting a lot better. From what he was his rookie year to now has been a godsend. And I hope he keeps continuing, including myself, to prove people wrong, because he looks like he belongs in this league. He still looks a little bit like a shell of himself after the catch. I want to see his yak improve because the dude is shifty. In TCU, he was very shifty. So I hope that happens and continues. And I hope the Chargers go 3-0 because usually the Chargers beat the Broncos at home and they lose at Denver. So I hope this continues, man.
Well, I'm a huge Quentin Johnston fan since watching him at TCU. I had him on my fantasy back there, and it's good to see him kind of develop and Herbert develop with him.
I agree.
Do you think? I mean, listen, Amari Hampton has not been great. Neither has any other rookie running back this is the matchup everybody loved. R.J. Harvey versus Marion Hampton, right? Which obviously that happened. Bo Nix's regression isn't that huge of a surprise either. I mean, he is kind of what he is. I think what you saw in his rookie year is probably what is his best ability is in regards to what he's going to be long term. Yeah, obviously there'll be a little bit up and down depending on offense, blah blah blah. But I think you got what you got right there because he's pretty much fully developed.
Wait, can I see some? Not to run. Can I say one thing about Hampton? He is a lot better and improved a lot more picking up the blitz and pass blocking over JK. I do just want to throw that out there. I will give him his flowers for that.
Yeah, I like Hampton long term. I think I think a lot of his lack of success might be attributed to the lack of success. Well, I'm not saying lack of success because they actually been playing well, as you mentioned with Pimpkins, is the changes on the offensive line, right? So the offensive line is trying to get itself together the first 2 games, playing without Slater and everything like that. It's new, so it's complete, the cohesivity. I like Hampton long term, and even at the end of this year, I think we'll be fine. I love the Chargers today. I think Herbert's going to make more plays. I think their receiving core is more weapons. I think what Nix is doing isn't going to be able to be sustained long term in regards to winning football. So if he keeps playing how he's playing, they're not going to win too many more games. Chargers, I'll lay it 2.5, no problem. I don't have any props in this game yet. I have to look at it. I just like to see Lag get it to go on a little bit more.
I agree. I saw this line move. I mean, I was hovering around 3.5. It's down to 2.5. Scary a little bit. Home team not catching 3. Pretty even game here. Scares me a little bit, but I'll roll with the Chargers here on the money line. I think they're just a better team. I love Jim Harbaugh. Wish he was here. Wish he was my coach. That's it.
Want to real quick touch on the NFC West matchup. Cards and Niners both 2-0. Niners 1.5 point favorites. 44.5 is the number. Kyler Murray, 1 of 5 quarterbacks with 2-0 record, 100 plus passing yard in both games. McCaffrey leads the Niners in a bunch of stuff, which is not a surprise to anyone. I think Mac Jones is starting this game. Juwan Jennings is out. This could be a statement win for Arizona, who is 2-0, but they haven't really been overly dominant in those 2 wins against subpar teams. I think this would be a little bit more of a statement game for them.
Yeah, I have the Cardinals win this game. I think the Cardinals are going to give a lot of trouble, the defense-wise, to Mac Jones, and I think Kyler Murray just has to play non-turnover football and just trust in the line and trust in the run game. Trey Benson is a beautiful 1B to a 1A, and Trey McBride should I believe should have a game. And I think Fred Warner might be on him a lot, but if that's the case, then switch it over to MHJ. Possible breakout game for MHJ today? We'll see, but
who?
Arizona. MHJ. I'm sorry.
Could only
He's
hope.
a dog with fleas, to be honest with you. I think listen, I think the Cardinals need to trade him. And here's why. All right, since you brought it up, right? Cardinals need to get rid of him. Him and Kyler Murray are not a good fit at all. Kyler Murray is an improvisation of a quarterback, right? He's going to run around, scramble, everything like that. Harrison gets to the top of his route and quits. You need a wide receiver that's going to be able to ad-lib during the play breaks down with Kyler Murray. Harrison doesn't do it. He just doesn't work hard enough. He doesn't work hard enough to finish the routes. He doesn't work hard enough to get open. I mean, he has everything. That's why McBride has extended, because McBride is doing the things that Harrison should be doing. And if they both were doing together, they would really kind of catapult it. So I think that they need to just part ways with him and try to get a different type of wide receiver in there, because you're stuck with Murray. So, I think that's the thing. And we've went on and on and on about how top end wide receivers don't really win anything. So let's, ship him out to somebody and try to get something you could kind of play with a little bit more, because I think him and Murray are just a bad fit. But I do like the Cardinals today. I do think that they're going to win the game, and it's because of defense. It's because of the Trey McBride, and it's because of the running game. I might sprinkle in a little bit of a Kyler Murray rushing yards today too. So and obviously got to be on the McCaffrey receiving combo. So I think that's where it's going to go.
All right. See, we got 7 minutes and 3 games with one that I know Ant's going to want to talk about, and probably me too. Cowboys and Bears 1-1 versus 0-2. Dallas 1.5 point favorite at Soldier Field. 49.5 is the number. Lamb can break his own record of 4 consecutive 100-yard plus games. Caleb needs 42 yards and 2 touchdowns to be the first Bear with 4K and 25 passes in his first 20 starts. Is he going to do that today, Ant?
Oh, yeah, he should. I mean, we talked about this earlier. I mean, this is a fantasy game for people, hopefully. As a Bears fan, they're 0-3. It's plain simple. They're not beating this Dallas team today. Dak, I anticipate Dak going in there, throwing the ball around. Big day for CD. Give me any time touchdown for CD. Both quarterbacks, I think, are going to throw for a lot. But the Bears are dead. They're dead already. So give me the Cowboys. Take the over and take the props. I'm just a dead man walking.
Yes. I think this,
eliminated.
It's the Cowboys have the best player in the NFL, right? And that's always something that you need to kind of attribute for, and that's Brandon Aubrey. So let's just get that out of the way right there. I think with this game, you're going to see a lot of what you saw last week with the Dallas game, right?
Yeah.
I think Caleb Williams, he's one of them guys that does like to improvise. He doesn't like to kind of work within the confines of the offense. And I think the Dallas secondary is going to give him enough time, right? So I think Caleb Roma Dunze, who's been pretty good to start the season. I think they're going to put up some plays and put up some points. I think ultimately though it's going to come down to Dak spreading the ball out to Ferguson, who's been a monster this year, as well as CD Lamb. And listen, I love George Pickens on the Cowboys because he catches everything. I mean, even when out of bounds, falling, interfered with. I mean, he gets pass interfered with every single time the ball goes his way. Javonte Williams has been a nice uptick. On the other end, Swift banged up.
Stinks.
Correct. I just don't. I mean, somebody with a quad injury like that takes away the explosiveness if he's still adding left. So I think the boys win in the shootout. I'm not touching the game one name. Just give me the over. Give me the over on. Give me Dak 2 touchdowns. Give me CeeDee Lamb over Hunter. I think I'll be on a Dunze catches. All kinds of stuff. I mean, this should be a fun fantasy game. Hopefully, it's entertaining to watch. But I think both offenses will be successful.
Agree.
Dak stinks, but probably wins today.
Sunday night MVP.
Please. Sunday night game. Now, if the Chiefs ever needed a win, it's tonight. They should get it. They're a 6-point favorite at the New York Giants. 44.5 is the number. Andy Reid's not started 0-3 since 1999 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Neighbors leads the NFL in targets and receiving yards, probably because the Dallas Cowboys pass defense, I was told, was very good, and that's why Jalen Hurts didn't throw the ball against them in opening night. Then they played last week, and Russell Wilson decided to throw all over them repeatedly. So I don't know about that. Again, this is a game the Chiefs should absolutely win. If they don't, it's going to be a serious problem, but I think they win the game.
Yeah, I like. I mean, how can you not like the Chiefs, right? I think the Giants just have issues. I mean, but -6 on the road on a primetime home dog, that's dangerous a little bit, right? I think it was fool's gold with what you saw out of Russell Wilson. He can't throw them sky balls against any kind of defense that actually knows how to play. Dallas was in the zone against them. They got confused. It was just a mess out there. They're still trying to get it together under Anthony's boys' defense that down there. And I think the Chiefs won't be a victim of that. I mean, they're going to get exposed. Neighbors will have a big game against, but, take Mahomes rushing, on the other side. He normally hits that by halftime nowadays. I haven't seen the number yet, but it's been good. But, Chiefs aren't going 0-3 against the Giants. It'd be very, very shocking if they do, but I'm not laying 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking I like Giants +6 here. I think it's going to be a closer game than you think. I think that, like I talked about earlier, I think this Chiefs team struggles because they can't rush the ball, and it doesn't help the passing game. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think the Chiefs will eke it out, but I'm going to take Giants +6 here.
I'm going to take the Chiefs here.
I think the Chiefs just win. How they get there, I don't really care, but they're going to find a way to win this game. Last but not least, the Monday night game is a good one. The Detroit Lions at the Ravens, both 1-1. Baltimore, the 4.5-point favorite at home. 53.5 is the number, coming off that just brutal loss that they had in Buffalo. Gibbs, 32 total touchdowns, is the most since 2023, most in the NFL. Jackson 3-0 all time against Goff, 2-0 against Detroit. Baltimore 6-1 all time against Detroit. I think Baltimore wins this game. I think that they just find a way to win this game. Lions don't have the juice they had a year ago. I know they got the groove back last week. I just still think this is a Ravens game. I think that they dominate the ground battle.
Well, it's a tough one. I like the Ravens to win the game. I'm going to take the Lions with the points here, the +4.5. I think it's going to be a close game. Fantasy-wise, I mean, the guys are there. Henry, I think Gibbs, they'll have their games. But take the Lions here, +4.5.
Last week was interesting to see the Lions kind of get back on track with their offense, right? You know, some people started kind of kicking it up a little bit. J-Mo had a big touchdown. You know, Sean God, all them guys. Derrick Henry, where was he in the win last week? He wasn't really. I mean, he wasn't effective, even though they didn't need him to win. He wasn't effective either. So I think Baltimore is going to really have to establish him in that place of everything, because they're not just going to be able to beat up a team like they did last week. So I like the Ravens. Way too many points. These two teams are way too close for that. It's going to be interesting to see. Gibbs, rushing receiving completion. Give me rushing receiving prop. Then give me Lamar Jackson and his rushing. I'll take that. So I think it's going to be a good game. One of the more marquee matchups this week, and it should be good to see.
It's a good Monday night game. You don't always get those.
Yeah,
I think last couple of weeks have been good, hasn't it? Well, no, the Sunday night game on the week one was good.
Yeah.
And last week we had the 2 Monday night games, which were live, so.
You got it done by 1 p.m., kids. How about that? We rushed it.
right on the dot.
We'll catch you next week for week 4. Enjoy your day. Enjoy Rangers preseason hockey in about 60 seconds. Take care.
Oh, my gosh.
Why do we do this?